Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, From the Ashes a Healing Journey. My name is Ashley and I'm just going to give you a brief introduction. So I'm 38 years old and after 33 years I finally got my diagnosis of Chiari malformation, and I had it with a shrinks, which is a cyst. I had my decompression with duroplasty done on August 19th, and my 3-month mark is coming up on November 19th. I'm slow at posting on my channel because I'm still recovering. It's definitely been a journey, and I more or less want to talk about things in segments. So I really want to start with my symptoms and what I'd been through prior to my surgery. So I had my first migraine at 5 years old, and I remember it like it was yesterday because I didn't understand what was going on. And as I got older, it just got worse, and I had been to the neurologist. I had been to, my regular primary care doctor. I've had CTs, MRIs, x-rays. I've had it all done. And the main thing was just they would push medications. So I started out on Topamax and Maxalt, but it wasn't working. Every once in a while, it was like a hit or miss thing. Every once in a while, I would get some type of relief by using that medication. But, after a while, it was just like, what's the point in taking it? It wasn't really working, so I'd quit. And then I would get so aggravated because here I was this is 6th grade. I'm in middle school and I'm dealing with all of this and being told by every time I'd go to the clinic, oh, quit faking it, you're trying to get out of school. And that was the thing. People think that you're faking it, or they don't understand how severe your pain is and they mock you for it. And I dealt with that even through adulthood. My symptoms, my headaches were so bad that I would have nausea with it. I actually would lose sight in my left eye. So in 6th grade, when they did my scans, they were looking for a brain tumor because of that symptom happening. So I would lose sight in my left eye, and then on other days it would be just blurred vision in both, and I would see little black dots. And, of course it was sound, smell sensitivity, light sensitivity. It was horrible. And the only way to get any kind of like comfort and relief was to just lay in a dark room and ice cold rag over my eyes and just try to sleep it off. That was the only thing that helped. And as I got, like I said, as I got older, of course, medications changed. I've been on Nortec. Oh gosh, I honestly can't remember all the medications that I've been on over the years to treat the migraines. My previous neurologist, put me on Botox injections, and y'all, I don't recommend it, but everybody is different. For me, I didn't get any relief. I didn't. I thought it was working. And then after about 2.5 months after my first round of Botox, my migraines were just like hitting it left and right. It was so bad. I was missing work. And then I went in for, the second round of Botox injections. Felt a little better. I thought I felt some kind of difference. But then again, around that 2.5 month mark afterwards, it just got really bad. So I just stopped it. Now, I have been through hell dealing with my migraines because, like I said previously, people tend to think you're exaggerating, you're over dramatizing it. It can't be that bad. It's just a headache. Take some Tylenol. You don't look sick. You're okay. And that's not the fact. They don't understand the pain that we are enduring inside of our bodies. Like, it is horrible, and I was just at a point where I felt something was wrong. I knew something was wrong with me. I knew something was wrong. Now, mind you, I never heard of Chiari malformation. Never, not one time. But my thing was brain tumor. That's what I was always scared of. And they would always do the scans. No brain tumor. Everything's good to go. So about 1.5 to 2 years ago, I started noticing that I was having more facial numbness. My hand, it wasn't both hands. It was normally my right hand. My hand would go numb. I couldn't grasp stuff. I didn't have a lot of strength in my hand. And I couldn't feel if you put something in my hand, I would drop it. And then I was having severe neck pain, shoulder pain, my back, my hips were hurting, my vision, and I was having brain fog, memory loss. Like, it was wild, the stuff going on. And I was getting scared. And I decided that, I went to my primary care doctor, and he was sending me over to a neurologist, because the symptoms were all kind of, related. It seemed to be related to MS, is what my primary care doctor thought I had. So I went to a neurologist, and he scheduled my MRIs. And unfortunately, there were some issues with the office staff. I quit with that neurologist, but I did get the MRI done, and then I found another neurologist who read the MRI and told me everything was fine. Told me, oh, everything looks good. You don't have MS. Your brain looks fine. You look good. Okay. So it's not MS, so we ruled that out. So what is going on with me? Because something is wrong and it's getting worse. Well, one day I was very sick, and I fell at home, and my son was there, and he took me to the ER. So I went to the ER, and my blood pressure was like bottoming out. It was very, very low. So they wanted to do scans to make sure it wasn't a brain bleed or something going on. They gave me all this medication, and then they were trying to get my blood pressure up, but it wouldn't come up. So they were like, we're going to have to start you on a special IV drip. And they were like, unfortunately, our hospital is not equipped to handle a patient on this drip, because it was meant for patients in ICU, is what I found out. So I had to be flown to a different hospital. I got there, and, I'm there because my blood pressure, we don't know what's going on. It's not coming up. What's the deal? But the ER doctor there had gotten my scan results from my local hospital. And when he come in, he asked me, he's like, do you have headaches or migraines? And I was like, yes, since I was 5 years old, but that's not why I'm here. He goes, oh, I know, but when were you diagnosed with Chiari? I look like a deer caught in headlights. I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, your scans here show that you have Chiari malformation. Were you not diagnosed with that? And I'm like, no. So that's how I found out. It was basically what they call an incidental finding, because that's not what they were looking for at my local hospital. But that's what was detected. So that is how I found out that I had Chiari malformation. Now, mind you, I just had an MRI done, and my neurologist told me that it was fine. So when I got home from the hospital and spoke with my neurologist, they were like, well, we had just gotten the results that morning. We just reviewed it very quickly. We've seen that there was no symptoms of MS, but it is present that there is Chiari malformation. So, they completely overlooked that and didn't tell me. So I got an appointment with my neurosurgeon, and then they, reviewed the MRI, and then they wanted to do the cervical spinal, and they did that. And that's how they found that I also had the shrinks. So that's how I came to find out about my Chiari malformation with shrinks, is through incidental finding through a local hospital. It's crazy, because as many times as I've had CT scans and MRIs and everything, why wasn't it detected before? So I was able to find a way to pull up past notes from my old neurologist, the one I did the Botox and everything with. And I actually found one of my CT scan results from 2016 that clearly showed Chiari malformation. I was never told. Instead, they pushed drugs down my throat and Botox injections. I was never told I had Chiari. And it made me mad, because I was sitting here thinking, it's 2025 now, almost 2026. I just got my diagnosis this year. I could have been so much better off if I'd have just been told back in 2016 that it was detected. I mean, I look at it that way. I am mad. I'm very mad that that got overlooked. That was, or not overlooked, but they were aware of it, but I was not made aware. So I'm mad. And then I wish I could find all my records from back when, middle school, from when I went, but those were doctors from a different place. I don't remember. I would love to have known if it was detected then, if it showed then, because if it showed when I was in 6th and 7th and 8th grade that I had this, I could have had the surgery then and could have been so much better off. My adult life would have been better off, because it's been rough. And even post-surgery, it's been rough. Now, today is what I consider a good day. I'm talking fine. My balance is okay. And the nausea is not, it's probably like a level 2 today. But I also have my bad day since surgery. And that is when my balance is completely off, where I have to use a cane. And super nauseated and brain fog. The brain fog is extremely bad. When I'm having a bad day, it's extremely bad. And I've also noticed that even my speech, since my surgery, it takes me a little bit. I have to kind of think about what I want to say and to get it out. Again, that's not every day, but I will say it's the majority of the days. But today is a good day or okay day. And I went over all of this with my neurosurgeon at my post-op appointment, which I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do another video on that because I felt very dismissed by my neurosurgeon, and I'm very upset about it. Also, just to mention, I've also found out that I have some other situations going on, and I'm going to talk about that on the next video that I do, because that's all around my post-op appointment and why I felt dismissed. And then after seeing my notes and finding out things that were not talked about with me at my appointment, I'm very upset. But I just wanted to get on here and kind of share like what my symptoms were prior to my surgery. And I mentioned, symptoms I'm going through post-surgery. So hopefully that will clear up as more time goes by. But yeah. So again, this is a good day. I do have more bad days and good days. That's why I'm slow to post on my channel, because it's hard sometimes. And, when you have a bad day and you kind of sound, or I feel like I sound like an idiot on my bad days, because I'm trying to get my words out, and I'm trying to, like, I know what I want to say in my head, but I can't get it out. And I don't want to, maybe y'all do need to see that. Maybe I do need to record on a bad day for y'all to see it, because I want to be real on here. Chiari malformation, it is serious. It can lead to other things like sleep apnea, things like that. The pain is just so intense. People have taken their lives. People have taken their lives because of this. And it's sad. It's very sad. It breaks my heart to know that people were in such excruciating pain that they thought the only way out was to take their own lives. And I can honestly say that I've been in those shoes where I felt like I'm just ready to end it all. It's too much. So anyways, I'm going to talk more about everything, but just remember that if you've just been diagnosed with Chiari malformation, or you're going through it, just remember there is no cure. Surgery, it's an option that you can do to help with the symptoms, or hope that it helps with the symptoms, but it is not a cure. Chiari malformation doesn't just go away. It is something that you're going to have to battle the rest of your life. Hopefully, if you have the surgery, you won't have any issues afterwards. But there are some people that are unlucky, like me, who are still having issues. So anyways, I hope everybody has a great day. I feel like I'm starting to stumble on my words a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get off here, and I will come back later, and I'll be sharing more information with you about my 3-month post-op appointment.